when you think that you've won, and that there's naught left to be done, well then I'd suggest you run. Because it's just not true. For now, a world of poison descends upon you! Welcome, my fellow hunters, as today we talk an elder dragon of mysterious might. Some say he is a creation wrought deep in a lab, a horror given breath. Some say he hails not of this earth. Some say he is a conqueror claiming a new home. What we do know is he goes by Duremudira. Duremudira? Duremudira. Duremudira. Duremudira? Duremudira. Okay, look, you're going to hear a lot of different pronunciations as we go through this. Enter then the guardian of the sky corridor, the Emperor Ice Dragon, and he is, well, something else entirely. Firstly, his home, a trap-laden tower of the ancient civilization, guarding mysterious secrets, deadly powers, and long god-forsaken experiments. This long-abandoned tower is a place that only the most skilled, bravest, and battle-hardened of hunters would ever dare to venture, and of them so few ever see sunlight again once they are swallowed by its depths. But what is the Sky Corridor? Well, akin to the Tower, a construction that is monument to the horror of the Great Dragon War, built on the very bones, flesh, scale of Kushala Daora, used as the very mortar itself, and decaying as it spirals through the cloud. This really is a shrine of screams. But this is not the only depraved structure the ancient civilization built, for the Sky Corridor is another one. Though, unlike the tower, it is much more labyrinthine in structure. Many corridors, rooms, easy to get lost, and even easier still to put a foot wrong and trigger some horrific contraption to bring about your end. See, treasure untold was laid bare in these chambers, but they were not left unprotected. And it is the guild's top priority, or at least one of them, to fully lay bare the secrets within. And that's where you come in, a hunter sent to investigate. But what was found there? What awaited? Well, a nightmare doesn't begin to describe it. Monsters swarmed inside. How they got there, how they exist, is an enigma unto itself, but one monster stands atop all of them, stands high up the tower, and, well, this is our focus today. Duremudira. Visually unlike anything else. You'd believe me if I told you he came from the stars beyond, and indeed for a little bit of a while that was a guess. But replacing that was a theory that they are guard dogs of sorts. So the ancient civilization very much tamed, bound, and controlled dragons to their whim, used them as guards, as fighters, as pack mules, as engines for their civilization. And indeed, the dragon may simply have outlived his masters in the tower, yet his mission to protect it from all outsiders still remains. However, that was finally proven untrue when it was confirmed he is simply an invader. A mysterious creature from a mysterious land, that decided one day to call this tower home, and in the process wiped out every living soul, every man, woman, and child that dwelt there. Most fled, the rest slaughtered, and thus it's remained an icon of misery, ruled over by this elder dragon. So what exactly is Duremudira all about? Well, at a glance he has the similar structure to your Kshalas, to your Teostras, the 4 legs, 2 wings, same shaped body, but that's really where it ends. His dark and grey scales give him an eerie look, lines of pure bioenergy glistening across his hide, an inkling of the power within. His wings jagged, but no less capable of sending him careening through the air. His tail a trident, and can very much be used as such, and his jaw powerful. 2 rows of teeth at the top gouge and shred flesh just as effectively as his mighty claws. He is hard to kill, harder still to not be killed by, and he contains quite the arsenal of elemental weaponry. As mysterious as this dragon is, how it kills certainly is less so. Ice, bitter, cold, unrelenting ice. It can coat its claws to give them an extra edge, but that is just the most basic of starts. There is no ancient documentation of this animal. All the reports are from first-hand hunters who survived or in extreme rare cases overcame it. It has the ability to super chill the very air around it and propagate that onwards and onwards until the entire chamber is cased in ice. A frozen tomb for the battle ahead. The walls, the floor, the ceiling. A cocoon to contain the chaos of the cacophony ahead. Well, if any hunter should be unprepared, this is their final hunt. Though a hunt is being generous. This guy is violent. He is extreme. He is aggressive. He is a psychopath amongst psychopathic monsters, and he goes out of his way to make sure that your death is gruesome. He has been thought to be a literal demon, a punishment rendered from the depths of hell itself. The reality, of course, is he is as much living and breathing as any elder dragon, but it's hard to think that when his secondary weapon is deployed. See, his ice may bring frostbite, a status unique to him, the Uragua and Toa Tetsukatora, and it will not only drain your stamina incredibly quickly, but also reduce how much you have very, very rapidly, rendering you, well, at the mercy of the beast. But beyond that, this dragon has access to poison. Not just any poison. Corrupted poison, infused into the ice and his very body. It is beyond lethal. It doesn't melt health as fast as some, but it lasts a long time, requiring a wonder drug to cure, and that is not so easily acquired. It also reduces the defense of those afflicted, making them much more susceptible to impacts of all kind as your body races to try and combat the now coursing venom in your veins. This, combined with the frost, well, you can imagine how it wears down would-be prey or would-be aggressors, frozen to the bone, burning inside as your blood is corrupted. What can you do as this dragon impacts you with all the force of a meteor? If by some miracle you manage to push and fight and claw your way to advantage, well, the third phase will begin. And look, I just want to take a moment here to address his theme. A lot of the Frontier themes are okay to good, some of them are a bit but when it comes to Duremudira, I cannot get enough of this. Listen to it. Not just, it is badass, it's exhilarating, it's, bring me to the battle! And, I love it so much. This monster then, in its third phase, tints purple, as it absorbs its own poison into its own body, which of course doesn't feel great, but it does. Let it push itself beyond its previous limits, adrenaline coursing, the ice on its claws on its head growing bigger, the access to the attacks that it has increasing in potency and scope, as ice explodes, poison explodes, the room explodes, death reigns everywhere, and it uses a onslaught of all it has against you. They are fast, they are strong, they have every physical attack you could imagine, they have a breath, which is 1,000 shards of ice that shred armor and flesh alike. There is beams of freezing wind, there is massive boulders of ice created and hurled in a huge area around it. It can encase itself in a shell of ice and then use itself as an icy meteor to crash onto hunters, and then of course shatter the frozen room in an earthquake of cold. It really is something to behold. Truly, it is the master of the Sky Corridor, the only place in which it can be found. But if you somehow make it past, somehow defeat it, and keep exploring, you climb higher and higher, you will find another Duremudira, one that dwarfs the previous. And this is known as the second district Duremudira, indeed the second district of the tower where you come across it. And this stronger individual has a secret final phase. Seemingly, it will have succumbed to its many wounds, but it has a secret, and that secret lies in its poison, which it commands much more potently. And in fact, in order to command it such, it takes a leaf out of Gypsaros's book, of all things.
No, I'll kill him! That's my thing! It's like the only thing I have, because I'm so disgusting otherwise!
It will appear then to have been slain, but from its body expelled, released a world of poison misery, coating the room in the purple mist. It will then absorb it all back into itself, gaining life anew at the cost of corrupting its very essence. Now bright purple, and on a timer of its own life, it fights with renewed vigor. White cracks appear down its body as it struggles to contain its own energy. At this point, the demon truly is released, and you must fight not just encased in ice, but encased in poison, as it flows across the frosty floor, as pillars erupt from its depths. This is all or nothing, and it is you or it is him, as he unleashes the most devastating set of attacks yet. But slayable he eventually is. And then finally one remains. A Duremudira above even that which can revive in a world of poison. This is known as an arrogant Duremudira, and it is an extreme monsters. Essentially, they're event monsters that are extremely ridiculously powerful, rare, and just over the top for over the top sense. Imagine arch-tempered versions, but taken even further, to the point where this one has a flip of element. Firstly, visually, it is silver-scaled now, with glowing white tealy eyes, and lovely sapphire, almost gem-like claws, spikes, and general appendages. In fact, he is quite beautiful to behold, and he has this unmistakable aura of pure power around him. Now, it will start to act much like the regular one does in its revived third and final phase, but it now has access to purple lightning, thunder raining down, and everything that used to be ice is now based on electricity. It will weave its poison in and out of its attacks too, and generally speaking, it will absolutely annihilate you. It is much, much more powerful than anything that has come before. And indeed, he is considered one of the hardest monsters in all of Frontier. It took some people weeks upon weeks upon weeks to get their first kill of even the base form. And in terms of the strength of the monster himself, he is comparable to Disafiora, who, by the way, is comparable to Black Dragon level strength. That is just how insane this monster is. And I'll be honest, visually, I'm not a big fan. I think he looks a little bit weird, and I don't really know what to say on that front. I can't quite put my finger on it. He just doesn't do anything for me in how he looks. I don't really like his wing shape. His head's okay, but I don't like chin spikes, just like I don't like them on Zenogre. I think they kind of trident-y tails a bit. I like glowing lines down his body, but look, visually is not what we're here for. A dragon that has chased out a pocket of ancient civilization with all the might that they had is badass. A dragon that can encase the entire room in ice so that you cannot escape and he has complete home field advantage is badass. Poison combined with ice is absolutely badass, and I think that's a wonderful combination of element and status, and there's no denying that his fight visually is epic, it is overwhelming, it is cool, and he looks like an incredibly satisfying monster to bring down. Would I like him specifically in the main series? I'd probably lean to the side of no, but would I like a monster that uses ice and poison and that can trap you in the room and can essentially do a lot of things he can? Yeah, I'm all about that, and that applies to a lot of Frontier. There are ideas here that I think are great, but the complete package of the monster they're used in is a bit, but that doesn't mean that the good ideas should not be salvaged, and in this case there is a lot of good in Duremudira. So let me know what you guys think of him. Let me know if you'd like to see him in the main series. But for now, like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. Please consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below. A goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.